Hello and welcome back to another informative episode of Competitive Games. Last episode we looked at the various definitions of competitive players, including the world of professional gaming. Today's episode is exciting because we are looking at one of my favorite essays, David Sirlin's influential Play to Win. Sirlin is a competitive player turned game designer. His gaming background is in Street Fighter, and he draws on examples from the Street Fighter franchise throughout his argument. In principle, the argument of Sirlin's essay is deceptively simple. He argues that when playing competitively, players should play to win, which does not seem like much of an argument, unless you have played a competitive game against another player. Sirlin recognizes that a majority of players, who he calls scrubs, do not play to win, rather, they construct fictitious rules in their heads about how the game should be played. Scrubs will rail against any type of play that does not conform to their vision of how the game ought to be played. They will cry cheese or cheap when their opponents do not play the game as they expect it to be played. Sirlin points out that the game only knows winning and losing, it's binary in its programming. As a result, those who play to win should use whatever the game allows in order to win, even to the extent of exploiting programming glitches in the game. The logic behind Sirlin's argument is that, only by pushing at the game's boundaries, only by learning the game's programming through play, can we ever find the game's depth and intricacies. It's not a matter of bending the rules, or breaking the rules are inflexible. Only by hacking the game can we bend, or break the rules, and Sirlin does not advocate that as part of playing to win, presumably because hacking a game is not traditionally conceived of as playing that game. If players never abuse the mechanics of the game, they will never find the wonderful complexities and depth the game offers. They will be prisoners of scrubdom, locked in an eternally shallow game where made-up rules mask, distort, and obscure the game's actual rules. And it takes a while to explore the depths of a game. What may seem overpowered or cheap by some players' standards may in time prove to be tame compared to the advanced strategies developed later. According to Sirlin, if a competitive game is good, if it is well programmed, then as it matures players will find balance. I'd love to talk more about the essay itself, because it is so often quoted in competitive play, and because it is such a provocative argument, but our time is almost up. Next episode I will explore some of the problems inherent in the simplicity of Sirlin's argument, so make sure to check back. As always, feel free to comment and ask questions. I will try to answer a question or two each episode. Until next time, keep on gaming.